to it. That should be enough. I tell you what, now we're going to let them soak for a while. The waiting period begins. 20, 25 minutes, we'll start tasting them, right, guys?
Oh, yeah, they'd be ready to taste then.
They've been soaking about 25 minutes, huh, Frank?
About that.
Yeah, I think that's it. Come on, dump them out here.
Wait a minute, let me get underneath.
It's hot, huh? It's real hot. Be careful.
Oh, that's the big...
Boy, I tell you what. If you do get burned, you'll smell good afterwards. Now, this will clean up your sinuses, I tell you what. And there's almost nothing this entire boil you can't eat. Everything that came out of here. We're going to start picking them and cleaning them and fooling around with them. And guys, I think this is what it's all about. Nice batch of crabs today. Sort of like 3 brother-in-laws going crabbing, coming home with a whole batch and all.
Ready to start the next one?
Next one. We got more crabs?
Oh, man, well, we got another hamper. More box.
Another hamper to go. Well, I tell you what, I guess we got to go back to work and fire them up. And you don't go away now, because there's a whole lot more coming up next on the Outdoors, Louisiana Style. Guys, how about me eating these while you boil those?
Ooh, the garlic. Where's the garlic?
No.
Frank took it.
Give me the sauce.
Look at this.
Getting fish in a boat, that's what it's all about. And that means you want the best tackle money can buy. Shag's Fishing and Marine Supply has all that you need. Shag specializes in the latest, most effective tackle available. When you can't find it anywhere else, you'll find it at Shag's. Berkeley, All-Star, Shimano, high-performance equipment that produces big results. So whether you like saltwater, freshwater, or both, choose your weapons at Shag's. Because when all that matters is getting fish in the boat, Shag's has the equipment you need.
Shag's, your Toledo Tackle factory outlet in Metairie. The secret to having a great time in the outdoors is having the right equipment, and I found the place to go. Peretz Allied Army Surplus and Outdoor Stores in Harahan and Kenner. And this is where you can find all your camping needs, right here at Peretz. From stoves to lanterns to eating utensils, everything you'll need if you're going to get into the outdoors. So before you get into the great outdoors, get into Peretz. Peretz Allied Army Surplus and Outdoor Stores in Harahan and Kenner. Got a great tackle tip for you today. If you got a boat like Bobby's that's open, doesn't have any seats in it, put a set of seats on top of an ice chest. Bobby's got a set here. They're mounted on a swivel for you. They're fairly comfortable. Now, of course, the best thing about this is if you just want the ice chest, you don't want the seat, Bobby's got it rigged up where he's got it on a butterfly, wing nuts. So when he wants just the ice chest and not the seat, he pops it off, leaves the seat at home. My goodness, he even brings extra crabs with him when he goes. But that's a good tackle tip, especially if you got a boat that doesn't have seats and it's just open fisherman type. You can put this, move it around wherever you want in the boat. It's just when you get under power and you sit down, be sure the back of the seat is facing the back of the ice chest, or you're in for an awful surprise. That's today's tackle tips. Outfitting your boat. There's a whole lot more coming up next on the Outdoors, Louisiana Style. Boy, did those crabs come out good. The lips are still burning a little bit. I think those two guys put too much spices in them. A couple of tips now. I want to tell you what we did there. Some things might not have made sense. When we dumped the crabs out and Bobby were turning them over on a table, putting the backs down, well, he did that mainly to keep the water inside of the crabs because that keeps the spices in and it continue to soak them up. You put them over, all the water runs out. And a couple other little notes I got to tell you now, too, is once you get those crabs out, if you like to eat them cold, don't throw them right into the refrigerator. Let them come all the way down to room temperature first, sit there for a little while, and then refrigerate them. Refrigerate them too fast and they'll spiral on you. So you see, there's not all those mysteries of boiling seafood. All you got to do is try. Experiment a little with the formula now. We gave you the recipe, and that's a good base. But I want you to play with it because you never know what you might add. Hey, you ever heard of Brussels sprouts? Hey, it was good. We had a good time today. We caught the crabs, we boiled the crabs, we ate the crabs, and we did all kinds of stuff in the outdoors. That's it. How you having fun in the outdoors, Louisiana style?
Buy your boat from a boat dealer, but buy your marine accessories from Boat Stuff. Boat Stuff has the broadest selection of marine accessories on the Gulf Coast. Boat Stuff specializes in marine electronics and is an authorized service dealer for all the electronics they sell. Boat Stuff has anchors, life jackets, signal flares, cleaning products, deck hardware, fishing gear, and a lot more stuff for your boat to make your boating more enjoyable and safer. Buy your Boat Stuff at 2610 Jefferson Highway, a block east of Causeway Boulevard.
Hi, Eddie Castlin here, your host for the Outdoors Louisiana Style. We're packing up and moving to a brand new location. That's right. Starting on Friday night, September 16th, we're at a new time and a new channel. You can enjoy the great outdoors Louisiana style every Friday night on Cox Cable Channel 22 in both Orleans and Jefferson Parish, and at a brand new time from 7 to 8 p.m. right before Talkback TV. That's all starting September 16th. So call your friends and tell them to join us at the camp for the outdoors Louisiana style.
Hi, we're your typical outdoor sportsmen. Yeah, Mom says we spend a lot of time outdoors. Except on Friday nights, we stay inside. Yeah, we watch Eddie Castlin on Outdoors Louisiana Style. I like to watch it on Saturday mornings. It's a really neat show. With everything in the outdoors. We want you to watch Outdoors Louisiana Style.
Hi, welcome to the Outdoors Louisiana Style, the second half of the program. This week's Best Bets, this might be a good weekend to stay home and clean up tackle. Let's spend some time with the family. Forget about fishing. That weather system in the Gulf I'm going to talk to you about in a little while is making things really rough for you. Best Bet of the week, stay close to home. Don't waste a lot of time and gas driving around trying to find a fish. And there's a lot of activities this weekend. We're talking about 7 different fishing rodeos. I'll run them down for you real quickly later on. But one of the big ones close to home is going to be the Venetian Isles Fishing Rodeo at Marquez Island on Highway 90. Where's that at? Highway 90 at Chef Pass. If you get out there this weekend, I'll be out there on Sunday afternoon. I want to go out there and fish that. And every year I visit with those folks. But we're going to talk a little bit this hour about crabbing and fishing in Lake Pontchartrain area, some tips, and even talk general stuff, and we invite your phone calls in a few minutes. But join me right now is my sidekick and co-host, Mr. Frank Engelbright.
No, not now. I'm busy.
What do you mean not now? You're busy.
I'm busy, man. I'm filling out my application, man.
Your application?
I'm getting Louisiana Conservationist.
Oh yeah, the new conservationist. You got to subscribe now.
That's right. You gotta subscribe. You get to pay for it now.
Well, you see,
help them out.
Yeah. See, in the old days, the Louisiana Conservationists used to come to you absolutely free, and you got your 6 subscriptions each year about what you would get in your conservation. But you don't get that anymore.
No, you don't. You have to pay for it now.
Yeah, it's $6 annually to get the book. But guess what? When you get the book now, you get a calendar, and that's what you're filling out now. Your subscription falls on a calendar. Well, there's all kinds of nice stuff on the calendar
Great pictures.
too.
Great pictures.
But I tell you what, if you fill that out and mail it in, Frank, you're not going to get the calendar for 1988.
I'm not?
No. Unless you write on a little piece of paper and put it in there, Eddie Castlin says, send me a calendar for 1989, 88, 89.
Say that again?
Eddie Castlin said, send me a calendar for 1988, 89.
Oh, I got that.
And you'll get the calendar.
All right, man.
But you got to send $6. And don't send it to me. Send it to this address, to Louisiana Conservationist, this P.O. box and all in Baton Rouge, and send them the $6. Don't send it to me. See, if you send it to me, he'll get his hands on it. We'll never get that magazine to you.
I could draw him something.
You got the new address on there?
I got it, man.
The brand new address, the new time?
The new one we move into next week, on the 16th?
The 16th, get it right now.
Yeah.
See, you're going to show up early now. Folks, we're moving. September 16th. Every time you look for Outdoors Louisiana Style, will be on Cox Cable Channel 22. And we'll move it to a new time on Friday nights, an hour later from 7 to 8 p.m. Gives us time to get a little din-din before we get on the air here. And we're live on Friday nights, 7 to 8 p.m., starting on Channel 22, September 16th now. Don't come, you're looking for us here. We're not here. Look around. We'll be on 22. All of our programs will be on 22 after that, so join us at that time. Tonight joining us is 2 guys we dragged out last weekend to go crabbing with us, or dragged us out. I don't know how that goes.
Well, I don't know that
one way or the other. Somebody got dragged somewhere to go crabbing last week. Bobby Azarello. Bob, thanks for coming in to see him. Captain Bobby.
Oh, yes, we had a great time like usual. Every time we go out, we have a good time out in the outdoors.
Yeah, well, we did good last week. Caught a few crabs.
Yeah, I think a crab caught you too, I believe.
It was a tug of war, and I won that. And also, Skipper, the other boat that was with us the other night, because the other day when we did this shoot, was Smoking Joe Davis. Smoking Joe's with us right now. You've been out with us a couple of times too.
Yeah, and I've enjoyed every trip. It's been great.
You made the canoe trip.
Yes.
We did a bassing trip into the Honey Island Swamp.
Where he caught all the bass?
He didn't catch
All one of them. all one of them.
watch how you guys talk. All right, this is it. Look, I cut us some slack, folks, but we told you about the Seabrook Bridge, and we told you about the MRGO. Both of them sitting right here. I'm going to have to tell you. The hot spot of the week, the hot spot of the whole week, was Captain Larry's. Catch him by the bushel every time.
Thank you, Ed.
In a minute, we'll be back. We're talking to Bobby, talking to Joe, and talking to you right here. You got a question, you want to talk, just give us a call. It's all coming up in a minute. Don't go away. We'll continue with the Outdoors Louisiana Style.
Getting fish in a boat, that's what it's all about. And that means you want the best tackle money can buy. Shag's Fishing and Marine Supply has all that you need. Shag specializes in the latest, most effective tackle available. When you can't find it anywhere else, you'll find it at Shag's. Berkeley, All-Star, Shimano, high-performance equipment that produces big results. So whether you like saltwater, freshwater, or both, choose your weapons at Shag's. Because when all that matters is getting fish in the boat, Shag's has the equipment you need.
Shag's, your Toledo Tackle Factory Outlet in Metairie.
Are you looking for a boat? If so, take a short drive down Highway 90 to Louisiana, Louisiana, and get the best deal in the metro area at the Sportsman Cove. At the Sportsman Cove, look over their great selection of Bass Tracker, Skeeter, and the famous Wellcraft line. The Sportsman Cove has the boat you want at a price you can afford to pay, and the Sportsman Cove will finance your new boat with any one of 4 different plans. They also have a large selection of boating equipment to suit your boating needs. So if you're looking for a new boat, take a short drive down Highway 90 in Luling and look for the Sportsman Cove.
Hi, we're back again. These guys are going to come in slack now, but I had to tell you, I can't have a basket every time. That's good, crap. You got a question, you want to chat a little while, give us a call. But Joe Davis, you brought in a crab net tonight because we got a tackle tip in a few minutes. We're going to talk about this. This is a tackle tip. Oh, Joe, bad news for you. Employees are not eligible for the ice chest. Bobby, I want to tell you the same thing, guys.
Oh, man, I was counting on using it.
The rule is if you got a tackle tip, you got to mail me the tackle. Did you guys mail it in?
Wait, I'll put a stamp.
Wait.
Got a stamp?
All right. Let's talk about these nets for a minute because they're simple. You see them in a grocery stores, hardware stores, tackle shops all over the place. And one thing you mentioned to us that we didn't point out was this cork. What is this cork?
Usually when you buy the crab net, it just comes with the bridle. And if you don't put a cork on it, when you throw the net out, the bridle sinks, the crab gets in the net, and when you pick the net up, you flip the crab out. So the cork keeps the bridle from sinking down in the net and flipping the crab out.
Oh, okay. So you got to add that little cork on it. Now, I was talking, and we're going to show you this in a little while on a tackle tip. A couple other rigs we got on here, but that's an important thing because that'll just hold it up enough, right? Don't have to be a big cork.
No.
Now, you use the big floaters,
right?
And but you don't have to use the big floaters. You can just use a small cork.
No, just enough to hold the line up. That's all you want.
But if you're crabbing in rough water, it's nice to have the big Clorox white bottles. It makes it a lot easier to see.
Yes.
You know, particularly other boats. There's a lot of boats that are out there crabbing, and if you're not careful, you could run over somebody's rig. So it's good to use the white floats.
Yeah, these work good if you're calm water or you're around the beach or the shoreline. And I've crabbed along the seawall and thrown them clean out and make a pickup pole, about a 10-foot pole or a piece of PVC with a hook on the end of it and grab it. But remember what we told you in a program a few minutes ago is the key to the whole thing is an easy, steady pull when it's coming up. Doesn't be real fast. Just don't slack off because he'll swim out the net if you slack off. And there are nets with double rings. 2 rings, one on the bottom and one on the top, making 2 little baskets. Sometimes they cost a few more bucks than these do, but it'll work for you. Yeah. I tell you what, and the good part about those is they don't swim out as quick.
Right. And mark your cork so you can spot yours among the other 1,000 or so that are out there.
That's the truth.
Painted a scheme or put your name or initials or something on it.
All right. Do we have a caller? I think we got somebody online with us right now. Let's take a call. Welcome to the Outdoors, Louisiana Style.
Yeah?
Hey, how you doing?
All right, man. This is Butch. Look, I got a little problem. You all the time when you're on your hot spots, you all the time talking about the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Please advise the people that Netherlands is full of logs and full of stumps.
Oh,
if they go in there without knowing where to pass, somebody will get sunk.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Butch. I always advise folks to check a good map, and if you get a map of the area, they show you some of the passes, the old passes.
Louisiana Style. The maps do not show the stumps.
Okay, we got that. The map, it'll show the old passes that go out into the lake, and the old passes are the safer ones. Okay, Butch? We appreciate that, Butch. We lost Butch there in the transaction somehow. But when you do go to the Netherlands are in Lake Cotawache. It's about halfway. In a few minutes, I'll show you where the Netherlands are on a best bets of the week. But the Netherlands are a blown-out area, and I guess it was dredged out for farmlands or a pond or something. But there's a lot of stump row along the front edge of them that goes towards the lake, and you got to know which one of cuts to go into. And you don't want to run into the Netherlands. I mean, that's basically that's like running into any one of your fishing hotspots. You don't want to run into it. You just want to kind of put the troll motor down and ease into it, or at least slack off and take it real easy going in. And if you're going easy like that, make sure if you get a motor that locks down, if you're running, never lock the motor down when you're in running position.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty good tip for any place that you're not used to and you're not familiar with. You shouldn't run through there wide open. I mean, not only in the Netherlands, but anywhere you fish. Till you learn the water and stuff, you should take your time.
Yeah, that's the key.
You know, anywhere.
Yeah, because if you go, I mean, if we keep telling you about trying a chef area or along Highway 90 in the Zalmans or even in a Gulf Canals, Bison, any of those spots, if you're not familiar with it, key number one is get a good map. Talk to somebody that knows about fishing the area. And really stop at a boat launch, stop a guy that fishes out there, run into another guy and say, look, don't give me hot spots. Tell me about this fishing spot. What should I be looking for? And 9 out of 10 guys will help you out. Now, sometimes you run across one of us ornery bass fishermen that think out there pumping us for information, and they're not going to give it to you, but they'll tell you what to avoid because they're not looking for you to get hurt either. So Keith's on the line now. How you doing, Keith? You're on the Outdoors Louisiana Style.
All right, Eddie. I saw that you had that map about the Seabrook Bridge on there. I was wondering if you could send me a copy of that.
I don't know if I can copy that because of the colors on it, Keith, but the New Orleans Dock Board, the Port of New Orleans Board of Commissioners for the Dock Board, I don't have the number that I can pop it off to you, but they'll be glad to send you a copy. Mr. Mike Orlish down at the Dock Board. If you call and ask him, he'll mail you a color copy of it. But it's basically 50 feet on each side of the dolphins, 220 feet out in front of them. You can't be behind them. All that's out. And 220 feet out in front, that's that old wall by the airport where the wall comes along and then dogs back to the airport. That's 220 feet out. That's why they picked that distance. And that's that wall. So from that wall and behind those dolphins, you can't be.
Okay, thank you.
But they'll mail you a copy. I can't copy that one. I could probably trace it out. Yeah, I tell you what, Keith, mail me a request for that. And just drop me a little note in the mail so I don't forget about it and I got your address and all. And somehow I'll sketch it out and send it to you.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'll figure out a way to do it. Okay? Thank you, Keith. And it's important that you stay out of that area. Last week we did a crabbing trip. At least 5 or 6 boats moved into that area. And it is off limits, and it's off limits for a good reason. Those tugs and tows go in and out of there. They push a lot of water, and when they do, they can't avoid you, the sports fisherman. And if you can't get your anchor up and get out of there, the boat kills or something, guess where you're at? You're in trouble, and they got to stop that tow, and then you cause somebody else trouble. So stay out of that area. John's on the line with us. How you doing, John? You're on the Outdoors, Louisiana Style. Hey, John.
How you doing?
All right. What can we help you out with tonight?
That's a beautiful crab you caught.
They were nice.
I can't hear you.
You got to hear me on the television.
Something wrong? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
That's beautiful crabs.
Yeah, they were beautiful. Well, somebody's got to explain to John, and I got to tell you all about it. You got to, John?
Do you ever see a lady on a crab show? A lady.
A lady?
Beautiful lady on a crab show.
Crab show.
No.
No, never have, John.
No, never have. All right, we'll get back to John in a little while. John, just
got to tell people they listen on the TV.
Yeah. You got to be listening on your telephone, on your television, because on your telephone you won't get the rollover. We don't have it to feed back into the telephone because of problems, technical problems on it. So you got to be listening to us on your television now. You're on the Outdoors, Louisiana Style. Let's talk to Bobby. Hey, Bobby, how you doing?
Doing fine, Eddie. Just want to tell you on the crabbing with the nets, a lot of people, when me and my wife first started, we was going with the tide, trying to pick up the nets, and it was running all the crabs off. And we found out later on it's best to go against the tide, pick up your nets. That way the crabs don't notice you as much.
Is that right?
Sure. The tide's pulling the cork line back towards you. When you pick it up, you pull tight. If you go the other way, you got a big belly of slack, and the crab's going to swim away.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize
You didn't
that.
think about that?
Tell you what, you're a pretty sharp guy, Bobby. Thank you for that tip.
Okay, Eddie, I had an old friend of mine that went with us years back, and I didn't know anything about it. My wife didn't either.
Wow.
Y'all keep up the good work. I like y'all's program.
Thank you. Thank you an awful lot.
That's a good tip.
It's a good tip.
Well, I think sometimes we take things for granted. We're just doing it and don't even think about it.
That's something that we think about a lot when we start this program. Is we go out fishing, we go out crabbing, we go do anything, and we take it for granted that we've been doing it all these years, and you know what we're talking about. I mean, I got some Mighty Mike baits out here, and a couple of weeks ago we talked about the rattle trap and the buzz baits and all that kind of stuff, and we really didn't talk about the old-time stick baits, and there are some old-time stick baits out on the market, and it's like the Mighty Mikes. These things have been out. Lucas Sue's been making a Mighty Mike for years. Tip them up a little bit there, Frank. Let Mike Bro get a shot at that and show folks that one. Those are the Mighty Mikes. Those are stick baits, and they just cast and retrieve. We overlooked them completely because we were thinking about some of the new baits.
These are mine, Joe.
Can I have this?
Get your hands off both of them. Both of them. Come on, put it down. That's props. We got to protect the props.
No, man, that's lures. That catches.
No, not pops, props.
Oh.
But I remember the Mighty Mite from years ago. When my dad used to go out fishing in the lake, they used to use a lot of the Mighty Mites. And you never hear about them anymore.
That's the Mighty Mike. There's the Mighty Mites and there's Mighty Mikes. Those are Mighty Mikes.
I want that one.
Mike, put it back. Well, I tell you what. I'll give you the methylate one because the methylate is called the World Series bait.
I'll take it.
I know you would. Don, let's talk to Don. Don's on the line now. How you doing, Don? You're on the Outdoors, Louisiana Style. Hey, Don. Earth to Don. Oh,
Don's gone.
All right, that's it.
Eddie?
Yeah.
Look, what's the best way to keep crabs alive until you get back home?
Depends on how long you're going to run. Well, Joe, the other day you gave us a tip on that.
I use a wet burlap sack. Okay? Now, if you're going to put them in an ice chest, put some ice on them, prop the lid open so they get some air, so you don't suffocate them.
Yeah. Now, Bobby, the other day we were talking about that. We lost some crabs because we iced them down and closed them up, didn't we?
That's correct.
Yeah, and you also pull the drain plug so the cold water doesn't lay in there and suffocate them.
Yeah. So that's about the best way to go about it. Is cover the burlap sack. They can't come out. Put a little bit of ice on them. The ice does two things that we told you about a boil. It slows them down, and then you want them cool when you do put them in a pot.
Okay, thank you much.
All right.
Bye.
That's all the time we got for phone calls tonight. But what you had, Bob?
Well, I was going to say that with keeping those crabs alive, you have to keep them out of the sun. Because a lot of people have it in a hamper, and they might put the burlap sack on, but they keep them in the sun, and the burlap sack will heat up really quick and kill your crabs. So you want to keep them in the shade.
Keep bucking the dump of the water over to
keep the burlap wet, and then it'll cool by evaporation.
Good. That's a tip, gang, and I tell you what. Oh, I got to talk about it about 1 second here, because if you've got a tip or a hint that we can use for a tackle tip, mail me your tackle tip. That's all it takes. Just drop me a note in the mail and tell me what your tackle tip is. Describe it in detail now. If I produce that tackle tip on the program, I'll give you an Igloo 48-quart ice chest, and it's absolutely free. Mike Sipe will give me a whole stack of them to give away, and every time I produce a tackle tip brand new that you have suggested, I'll give you that Igloo 48-quart ice chest. Kevin Cleaver picked this up last week. We got another great winner just about a week or two ago. We notified him, Dave. Yeah, it was Dave. Dave with the bedpan. Dave probably will never show what the claim is, but we gave him an Igloo ice chest anyway. But send me that tackle tip and mail it on real soon, because we'd like to use your ideas. And remember, we like your cards and your letters, and anytime we're missing the boat on something, if we made a mistake on this program, if we skipped something when we went crabbing, if we didn't do the boil right, or if there's something we're not covering, hey, we're all big boys here. We'd like to hear from you, especially if there's a program you'd like to see, because we'll run out of ideas one day, and we rely on you to give us all those tips and hints and tell us what you like to see. And as far as tackle tips goes, tonight we used two of them from Joe and Bobby here. And Bobby's was the seats, and Joe's was the crab nets. And guys, those were going to be your two ice chests, but
the FCC call said we can't give it to
we can't give
no employees of the company.
That's the way it works. We'll be back in a minute. I'll show you some hot spots of the week, run down calendar items, weather, and a whole lot more. It's all coming up. Don't go away. Right here on the Outdoors, Louisiana Style. It's in the book, guys.
I'm liable to run out of.
Here's a tackle tip for you. Since today when we're crabbing, let's talk about taking care of your crab nets. A couple of real quickies for you now. If you're going to put bait on, why don't you try a shower curtain ring like this one? Put it on your center line so it stays up off the bottom when the net's out there, and it keeps the bait up from getting into the bottom of the net so the crab can't get underneath it in case it sits up on an angle or such. And it makes it easy to change the bait, getting them off and on. A simple old shower curtain ring. Another one is taking care of your nets. This net is old, but it's been taken care of, rewoven and tightened up a couple
couple of times, but dipped every couple of years in a plastic net dip, didn't allow it to dry. And speaking of drying, every time you get back from crabbing, rinse your nets down real good with clear water, and then set them out in the sun for a couple hours and let them dry before you bundle them up and put them away. And bundle them up and put them away, got another tip for you. In fact, I'm going to pass along to Bobby, and that is, instead of making this a tight connection where you worry about where the bottle's at and getting the bottle inside, you can put all the bottles in the bag and put a snap swivel and a ring right here, snap them off, put them in a sack and put them away, and then when you put your nets together, you get a nice tight bundle of nets, and you can put them in a plastic bag and store them to the next time you need them. Tackle tip today, taking care of your gear. There's a whole lot more coming up next in the Outdoors Louisiana Style. The secret to having a great time in the outdoors is having the right equipment, and I found the place to go. Perret's Allied Army Surplus and Outdoor Stores in Harahan and Kenner. Wow, just look at the bags, cargo bags, duffel bags, knapsacks, sea bags, even sleeping bags at low, low prices. So before you get into the great outdoors, get into Perret's. Perret's Allied Army Surplus and Outdoor Stores in Harahan and Kenner.
For the fisherman who finds his catch in the swamps and inland waters, Bayou Specialties has all you need to make that fishing trip successful. Bayou Specialties carries a great selection of tackle for catching specks, reds, and other inland fish. And a complete line of blue water fishing tackle to bring in the big ones from the deep. You'll even find marine supplies at Bayou Specialties. So wherever you go fishing, get your quality tackle first at Bayou Specialties in Jefferson, Gretna, and Slidell.
Even though it's Labor Day weekend, there's a lot of bad weather out there. There's a lot of rodeos, too. Try to keep it close to home. Give you some fishing spots, though. Maybe you can pick up some trout and redfish for the big rodeo time. The Gulf Coast, from Bay St. Louis all the way around Bayou Caddy and all these spots, all the way over to Pearl River Basin, some real good fishing this week. Bill Roberts has storms all week long, been keeping fish kind of slow, dirty water, turned over a lot. So if you're going to fish brighter baits and fish hard, maybe keep them a little bit more shallow than you would normally. But hey, let's talk about the Lake Pontchartrain area. Highway 11 Bridge, the Trestles, the Train Bridge, all these spots right through here, all the way over here where Chef Pass and Wrigley's Chef Pass goes out. Some good fishing there. Tide's going to be pushing out all morning long. So that's in the Lake Pontchartrain Basin, way over there by Bayou Lake Maurepas, Bayou Manchac, all these spots right out of the North Pass and South Pass. These two spots, Bass, 23 miles of Highway 51 Canal. This is Bayou Rudock. There's a Rudock boat launch at exit number 7. Try that. Go right into Bayou Rudock, and the canal's right alongside of it. Well, when you come out of Bayou Rudock and Highway 51 Canal, there's a deep ditch along there. Try that ditch when fish are a little bit spooky, and you got to use those deep diving crankbaits and large worms. Some good bass. Oh, let me give you a bass and spotter on the West Bank, too, because this is the Lake Salvador Game Management Area. Lake Cotahuachi, come out of Salos Canal, go due south. Use your compass, go due south, come into Bayou Cuba, come right into the Salvador Management Area. North Canal runs right up here. Oh, you talk about some good fishing in that area. And now let's talk about Lafitte here for a minute while we head east and check out the east bank of the river. But lower Lafitte in a pen, I'd have to say down by Bayou Wrigley's, Little Lake, maybe the oil platforms in Bayou Barataria. If the weather lays down this weekend, it'd be well worth the run. But otherwise, be careful when you head out. Now, this is Old Shell Beach in the Lake Bourne area, the Intercoastal Waterway. And I want to show you a little more detail on this map. No more of this smoke stuff. Guys. No. I got my clicker this week, and I know how to get me to a big, big map. Ooh, boy, does this work better than the smoke. All right, guys, I got my big map of Shell Beach now. This is where Shell Beach used to come out at, Old Shell Beach, and this is some good fishing all along this eroded coastline. It doesn't look like this necessarily now because it's ain't out now. Lena Lagoon's right off here to the south a little bit, but all along this coastline, some good fishing, real good fishing. See Lena Lagoon over there? Now, this is a couple of the other little bayous that come out, and Bayou St. Malo is one I'm always talking about. Right here on mouth of Bayou St. Malo by the lights and all these little cutouts and all that, they got some good fishing in that area. And this weekend with the tide falling like that, if you can get into Lake Bourne, I would fish Bayou St. Malo right by the mouth of it. Don't go if the weather's too bad. Hey, I got some calendar items for you. Let me see if this works. Hey, if you got an item for the calendar now, mail me the details to Outdoors Louisiana Style as soon as you can. And we'll use them right here. And calendar items, they're free. And I can tell you about shrimp season, which is still open statewide. It's not hip hip hooray, it's just barely a shrimp season. But I got some classes for you now. A hunter safety, well, not really a hunter safety, a handgun safety class put on by East Jefferson Levee District. Give them a call, they'll schedule one for you. And hey, help me clean up Louisiana. We got Beach Sweep 88 coming up September 24th. All I want is 2 hours of your time that Saturday morning. Call John and tell him about it. And this is Labor Day weekend.
boy, have we got fishing rodeos for you. Quickly, let's look at the list of them here. Venetian Isles Fishing Rodeo, Marquez Island, Highway 90 Chef Pass, KC Fishing Rodeo, and Sycamore Point. They got the original Grand Isle Redfish Rodeo. We're at Grand Isle. Acadiana Fishing Tournament Association in Sycamore Point. Also this weekend is the Abbeville Kiwanis Tarpon Rodeo in the Coastal City, and a Lake Judge Perez or Lake Hermitage Volunteer Fire Department Rodeo, Whiskey Pass Fishing Rodeo Association's rodeo this weekend. That's just a look at this weekend's rodeos, but hey, it's hunting season in Louisiana, and I've got the details for you. The first split of Louisiana statewide dove hunting season opens up. It's noon to sunset the first opening weekend. Remember, all splits. Also, the Mississippi dove hunting season opens up this weekend. Their bag limit is different, their shooting hours are different, and their split is different than ours. But I've got details on a class for you, a boating safety class put on by the New Orleans Palace Guard, and call Bill Harvey and ask him about details. And for hunter safety class, I've got one for you at Boyette Junior High School starting up on the 13th. Get you more details on hunter safety and get safe this year. Oh, it's time now to check into the weather. Boy, I like this a lot better than the smoke, guys. I really do. Oh, great clicker. Oh, outside, raining all over the area this afternoon. Be careful if you're traveling around tonight. Street flooding, in fact, rainy. 75 at the airport, 74 at Audubon Park. Humidity, 85%. Pressure, 29.90. That could be dropping with that front and that storm coming in out of Mexico if it makes it over this way. Wind south-southeast, 14 miles per hour, making the seas terrible. For the weekend, showers are in the forecast all weekend long. 60, 70, 80% chance of rain. High around 87, low around 75. That's going to drop off come Monday. We're going to get into the 60s. Maybe lower. Winds out of southeast 10 to 15 miles per hour. That's going to make the seas 2 to 4 feet all the way across the coast. Maybe on the west bank of the river 4 to 6 or even stronger. Lake and seawater temperature 85, 83. Great for shrimp. River stage 1.9 foot. Tides about 3:30 in the morning. Range 1.6 foot. According to Lane Council's Fisherman's Tide Rule, see all the tides are high early in the morning. Good fishing time through the middle of the day. The shaded areas are best fishing times. And that's it. That's weather for the outdoors, Louisiana style. Oh yeah.
Buy your boat from a boat dealer, but buy your marine accessories from Boat Stuff. Boat Stuff has the broadest selection of accessories on the coast and over 15 models of VHF radios with antenna and mounting brackets. Complete packages start at $179.99 with installation and service on all the electronics they sell. Boat Stuff has marine cleaners, waxes, and repair products to make your boating safe and enjoyable. Buy your Boat Stuff at 2610 Jefferson Highway, a block east of Causeway Boulevard.
I see you like great television too. And with all the variety and choice on cable television, there's always something worth watching. Like sports. Nothing beats cable for action-packed sports coverage. Hey, talk about action, cable's where it's happening. Behind rock, cool jazz, and top 40.
Classic movies, box office blockbusters, while cable offers Hollywood's best. Uncut and commercial-free on a wide selection of premium services.
No doubt about it. Cable has all the variety and choice you want, anytime you want. It's TV you don't want to miss.
For the fisherman who finds his catch in the swamps and inland waters, Bayou Specialties has all you need to make that fishing trip successful. Bayou Specialties carries a great selection of tackle for catching specks, reds, and other inland fish. And a complete line of blue water fishing tackle to bring in the big ones from the deep. You'll even find marine supplies at Bayou Specialties. So wherever you go fishing, get your quality tackle first at Bayou Specialties in Jefferson, Gretna, and Slidell.
Well, there you're looking at a little bit of waterfowl art. That is a crab claw carved by Mr. Sid LaClaus. I can say this. Sid did this as a Christmas present for me last year, and this will be part of what's going to be on display out at the Waterfowl Festival at UNO coming up September 24th and 25th. Just like all this other art that we've got up here, some of these other decoys, stuff like this and much more, and waterfowl art will be on display. It'll be out at UNO on September 24th and 25th. And we'll be talking with Charlie Frank, Sid LaCoste, and a couple of the other carvers. In fact, we'll be out there that weekend to show you a little bit of what the waterfowl art is here in Louisiana. Now, I got to mention something. We did that recipe, and I didn't tell you how to get a hold of it. If you like a copy of the recipe we did for the crab bar from the guys here, we all got together and finally agreed on what went on that boil, right?
Right.
We all agreed, right?
Yes, we did.
All right, we all agreed what went in that boil. We finally agreed. What went in that, mail me a card to request, and I'll send you a copy of that recipe. But also, it's the same one where you send cards and letters for anything else you'd like to have from us, where your tackle tips come to, and all that. But remember, your subscription to the Conservationist does not go to that address. But if you want the little form, in order for you to send it, all you got to do is drop me a note, and I'll mail you the form to subscribe to the Louisiana Conservationists. Get this beautiful calendar for 1988-89. And if you're subscribing, why don't you just go ahead and put Eddie Castlin and send me a calendar. Guys, thanks for coming in this weekend.
All right, Eddie, thank you. Enjoyed it.
All right, I don't know what we're going to do next. I really don't. We're going maybe scuba diving, anything. Anything's possible around here.
It's got
because,
hunting season.
See, hunting season. We got all kinds of hunting stuff coming up.
I got you entered in the alligator
Don't
hunt.
talk about that alligator hunt,
Yeah,
scuba
that's coming
diving.
up soon.
There's not a way in the world. Look, join us next week as we bring you the outdoors like you've never seen it before. The outdoors, Louisiana style.
You got to get in that alligator.
Come on.
I got the tag. Yeah, I got the tag.